just as of recent, you know, you discovered how my mind works. Like, the longer we're married, the more things are revealed. And because I would do things or wouldn't do things that would offend you, and you just didn't get it. And vice versa, you know, but you just didn't get it. But then we discovered something, and maybe down the line we'll talk about what that was. But it freed our relationship even more, because now you understand that I'm not doing it because I'm just...
Well, I have a really, really natural affinity to being a servant.
Yes, you do.
And so, you know, you'll ask me to do something, even if I'm tired or about that. Usually, and I'm not saying no, but usually I'll be like, yeah, I'll get up and do
Jalen is definitely a yes guy, and not in a bad way, but he's definitely a yes guy. He's dependable. He won't say no. He will go to the nth degree to make something happen, even if it's literally impossible. He gonna make it possible.
And I've always been like that. And actually, being married to you has taught me to learn how to say no.
Because I say no real quick.
And that bothered me about you, because I felt like my saying yes was a good servant's heart, and everybody in the world should be more like me. And typically, that's how we approach marriage. I feel like everybody should be more like me. And since you said no a lot more, I felt like, well, you don't have a servant's heart. You're lazy, or you're selfish. You're self-centered. And so when you wouldn't do things for me that I would ask, and you'll be honest, you'd be like, I just don't feel like it right now. I'm not going to do that. It would bother me, because I would say, if the roles were reversed, I would do it. And something you would say that would set me off would be, I'm not you. But it was true. And I had to learn that, one, I can't get mad with one thing. There's a lot that you do for me. There's a lot you do to serve me and to serve this household, take care of our son, and to keep this house running. You do a whole lot. But I learned from you, and I learned to come to appreciate your honesty because it's no good if you go do it with the bad heart. When you're not a cheerful giver, God's not interested in that. And so I would do things and not really want you, but felt like I would get some reward for doing it, but it wasn't honest. It wasn't genuine. And so I learned, if I really don't have the heart to do this, I don't want to do this, and I need to just say no. And I learned that from you, and we've learned from each other. You've probably become even more of a servant, and I've learned to just say no to certain things. But I had to learn that about you, not be offended at you, because it's real easy to think that we're better than somebody else. And that was the problem with the brother of the prodigal son. He thought he deserved more because he was there, and he didn't like the fact that his brother, when he came back, got treated equal to him, even though I stayed here with you the entire time.
And that's why we got to work together.
Yeah.
That's why we're stronger together. Where I am weak, you are strong, and vice versa. And we got to really understand that and stop trying to make clones of ourselves.
Yes.
And we perceive people through the eyes of what I would do. If I was in their shoes, this is what I would do. No, you wouldn't. Because you're not them. You can't be them. You don't know the conversations they have on their head. You don't know the pressures they're dealing with. You don't know. It's even like we're sitting here in these chairs right now, and y'all can't see our house, our studio room. But from where I'm sitting, I have a whole different view of the room. And where you're sitting, you got a whole different view of the room. Now, we're sitting in the same room, okay? But we're seeing it from different angles. And we're going to perceive it differently. So I'm like, don't you see that over there? Can't you see this the problem? You should be attending to this. And you're like, no, it's because it's behind me. I can't see what you see. You know, and so I would judge you and say, you don't care. You're this, you're that, and why are you not attending to this, whatever. But I'm sitting from a different perspective and view. I can't see it the way you see it.
But the beautiful thing is, when you understand the geometry of complementing each other, which is what a lot of marriage and relationships and church relationships are, is instead of me getting angry that you don't see what I do or see what I see and handle what I'm trying to handle, you see what you see and you handle what you're trying to handle. And the thing is, I may never know what all you're contributing. Like, I'm at work, and I know exactly what I contribute, how hard my job is or isn't, and what I'm bringing to the household. But I will never truly know what you bring to the household. There's an element of trust. Now, I can see the results of it, but every ounce of every day, I don't see it.
And vice versa, you know? Because I sometimes am like, well, you're at work all day, and I'm here with JJ, and, you know, but you have stresses and burdens at work that I don't have to deal with. And good, because if I had to deal with it, I would be like on the ground.
So instead of us trying to do each other's job, understand he's doing his job, she's doing her job, and that's why everything doesn't fall apart, because we're doing our jobs. And so we need to do that in marriage, we do that in church, we do that in the workplace, And it's like, well, what if you're dealing with somebody who really ain't doing what they're supposed to be doing? Again, that's your perspective. And it's not a whole lot that's a whole other lesson in and of itself. But for you, what's important is don't get offended.
Yeah.
Guard your heart from that offense because that's very destructive.